Thank you for joining us on this conversation. My name is Christine of Super Mamas, and we are talking about loss. How loss of a child can affect a couple. You know, it's something we barely talk about, and today we are going to be enlightened by Counselor Sylvia, who's joined us on this conversation, on just how we can nurture our relationship and move on stronger and not let whatever has happened be the thing that totally divides us. So thank you for tuning in, and at this point in time, I'll introduce Sylvia. I have said your name already, but you can just mention a few things of about what you're passionate about and how you came into counseling, why you're so passionate about it.
Oh, thank you, Christine, for having me.
Always a pleasure.
Okay, my name is Sylvia. I'm a co-founder of Stawi Wellness. Njoki and I are very passionate about counseling and working with people, individuals, couples, people coming into marriage, and my heartbeat is loss and grief. Why I love loss and grief is 8 years ago we lost our second-born child.
I'm sorry.
After 1 month, you know, after giving birth normally, then he had an operation and passed on. And that is when I came face to face with personal loss. And just going through that journey, I decided, wow, I can work with other people, other young ladies, other ladies, you know, in this journey, because it doesn't have an end.
No, thank you for that, because, I mean, you know, when we come, we hear somebody has lost somebody.
Yes.
We then say pole, and of course we grieve with you, we feel for you.
Yes.
There's the loss part, but we never think about how about this couple, how are they doing, how will they move forward, how will she move forward, how is he feeling, does he have platforms to express himself? So I can imagine.
Yeah, because what happens when loss happens, we need to be aware that you're dealing now with two broken hearts. We know we are never aware. So yes, the child has gone, but these parents who had maybe whole hearts, now they are broken hearts. How do broken hearts relate? And that is why when you see Christine, after a loss of a child, many couples go different ways. Why? Because they are hurting differently and they can't communicate about it. So then they lose their child and they lose their relationship. That is so unfortunate.
How about Sylvia? We start from the point of, as a woman, in what way does loss affect you?
Well, loss happens now. Like for me, I was a new mom, you know, normal birth. Yeah. So imagine my trip to the shower every day.
That's
my
tough.
breasts
That's tough.
have milk.
That's tough.
Right? And I don't have a baby. Emotionally draining. I do not want to be touched. I have just lost a child. Yeah. So if that is my husband's language of love, you know, because he wants to be held or he wants to cuddle so as to comfort me, and I don't want. I'm emotionally drained. I have just lost. I'm lost. I don't know where. I had my future planned with my baby, you know, and my baby is not there anymore. So it's just draining. And also as a woman, you're thinking about your spouse, and you're also thinking about if you have other children. Like for me, I had a 2-year-old.
Whom you have to cater to.
You have to cater to that one. You have to cater to your husband. You have to cater to yourself. And you're crumbling. And that is a lie. You're not everybody's rock. And that is where women lose it. Because then let me shelf my feelings and take care of this family.
I hear you.
You see? And at the end of it, you just lose everything.
You will crumble.
Yes.
I know you can't speak for your husband, but then you went through it together. How do you think men deal with loss of a child? How does it affect them?
Well, nobody ever plans for loss. You know, I'm thinking a man is a hero to his family. He's thinking, I'm bringing a child home. I'll provide for them. There's future. He's already seen school. He's already seen, you know, to provide. Then it's void. One. So he's lost a child. He's lost his dream. Then he has a wife.
Who he needs to be strong for.
Who is in pieces. Yes. And he's feeling helpless. He wants to fix her, but does not know how, because he also has a broken heart. What does he do? He's silent, maybe. He withdraws or puts on a front, a brave face, yes, for his wife and maybe children.
Right.
But he's hurting. And what does a woman perceive it as? Let me give you our example. I don't mind, because I used to cry a lot. I didn't see my husband cry. And guess what I interpreted it as? You didn't love our child as much.
Wow.
But I was deceived, because the way I mourn and the way he mourns is different. Because later on he told me I would drive and I would scream, maybe in the car, or I would go to the washroom. I didn't want you to see me cry. But you see, I'm judging him. You're not crying the way. Or I would withdraw. I didn't want to really socialize with people. My husband is a sanguine, he's an extrovert. So his way of being energized and dealing with it was to go out with his friends, with our friends, you see. And so there comes conflict. Why are you going? Why do you want us to go for a visit? I want to stay and cry.
You can't move on. Why are we moving on? No, stay here.
Stay here. But he's thinking, if I stay here, I'm just miserable. My way of processing it is being out or going to work. So you see, it brings a lot of conflict.
And that's the point of our conversation today. Then getting to that point of loss has happened, which is unfortunate. But then how do we stay strong as a unit? You did mention that most couples separate when they lose a child. But then the research which then say that most likely that marriage already had issues prior to that happening, and then of course that just escalated things to another level. But of course I do agree with you, because it can be a pointer to, you know, I just can't be here anymore. What is binding us here? Say, why are we here together? The way you deal with things, the way I deal with things is just different. Share with us, pointer Sylvia, on then how as a couple we can get over this if possible and become stronger.
Okay, let me just go back to the other point, Christine. First and foremost, let's say child loss. Child loss is not just the birth of my child, the one I lost. Miscarriages happen, Christine.
Which we barely talk about.
And which harm a relationship. So let's not just think about me who carried my baby
9 months.
No.
And then
miscarriages happen, and a child is a child. And you know, miscarriages are more complicated, because how do I tell you, Christine, that I lost a baby? How do I tell my spouse? You see, so even as we talk about child loss, please remember the lady,
I can even see how much I'll be blamed. What did you do? Why were you going wherever you're going? What did you eat?
What did you eat? And will this man leave me? Why those marriages stop or they fail is because, will you be committed to me after I've had 3 miscarriages? Or you'll want to look for another woman? You understand?
I get you.
Or this child has died, the only boy that we got.
A boy,
you know.
Yes.
Yeah? And will we get another one? Will your love remain? So I'm questioning the commitment. So yes, there could have been underlying issues before, but the things have changed. These are 2 broken hearts. Are you still committed to me the way we started off? Now that things have changed, the future is no longer as bright as it was. So I need my spouse to tell me that we are in this together. Because what happens is there's also a change of values. Let's say we came in with a good set of values. Now trauma has happened, and I start partying wildly. So I don't see you. That is not how we were as a family. So therein comes now issues of infidelity. Values have changed. So this relationship has changed. That's why some people go different directions.
So what can we do better?
What we can do better is, first, let's understand we all grieve differently.
So one, understanding your partner's way of grieving.
Understand their way of grieving. So let's grieve together but apart also. You understand? So I am withdrawn, and you like going out, but we understand, so we can get a compromise. You know, you can hang out with me at home. We can go out a few times. Let's compromise. That way we are working together. Because the pitfall is there'll always be somebody on the side who understands your wife better, who understands your husband better. Oh, how was your day? And your wife was at home crying. So you get emotionally attached to the other person.
And that's where it starts.
And then the other problem also is men want to fix the woman, or the woman wants to be fixed. Make me happy the way it used to be. But who can take away your heartache? Nobody. It's a journey. So again, let's not rush the process. I want you to heal now. No, it is a journey.
So
just just accepting that it is a journey. I'll see a baby, I'll hear my son's name, somebody else, you know, and I'd feel sad, but it's not like that forever. So being patient with each other.
That's a good point.
And also not wasting our pain, Christine. Why I am here 8 years down the line, I told myself I shall not waste my pain.
I like that.
Because it's an opportunity. Even if you lost a miscarriage or a child, it's never the same.
Yeah.
But I can identify. When we lost our baby, I was looking for a woman who was like 2 years ahead of me, you know, so that I can see there is hope. There is hope. Like if she's ahead 2 years, I can make it. You know, I want to be that beacon of hope for other people, and other couples can also be.
And you have been well done.
A beacon, thank you.
Well done.
Yeah, so there is hope. 8 years down the line, we miss our child. We even talk about him now to his siblings, you know, but we want to work with other people. So don't waste your pain. Yeah.
How about intimacy?
Yeah.
Because, you know, one of the things that make a couple grow together is intimacy.
Yes.
In the face of loss,
yes,
what are the right things to do? What don't you do? Empower us on that area.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I like intimacy because intimacy is not just physical. There's emotional intimacy. You and I can sit. We all have different languages of love. You see, you could buy me a gift. That's intimacy. You know, it could be physical. That is intimacy. You can affirm me today when I make the effort to make a meal. You know, wow, thank you for that meal.
That's wonderful.
Thank you for coming with that gift. You're doing well. Today you smiled. I noticed. You know, so intimacy can be, when you're hurting, it can be affected. But if you're intentional, because remember you've said, we are in this together. Yes, let's go for that date and be quiet. You know, let's just have our safe space alone, but we are quiet and we are okay.
Awesome.
Yes. So it can be affected, but it's good to talk about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Sylvia, as we're winding up this conversation, looking at it from the point of a counselor,
yes,
would you then also advise a couple who have gone through a child or losing a child to then also come to you, a person like you, to just talk through things?
Yes.
To then help them on that journey? What would you say there?
Well, if I give you our personal story, is that I went for counseling. My husband did not want to go for counseling. He actually said, you go get counseling, we'll all be okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we did. Because it's important, again, as I said, we all know ourselves. Counseling might work for me, it might not work for my spouse.
That's true.
Yeah?
That's
when
true.
you drag him into the counseling room, it might be frustrating. Yes, it is nice if both can come, but if your partner refuses, you go ahead, get your healing, and they might come. Or even the tools you learn in counseling, you can implement them on your family, your spouse, and even your children.
That's wonderful.
And those around you.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Sylvia, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story, albeit briefly. I know all of us have learned something from you, especially for the people who are going through loss or have gone through loss. You know, even for your input as a counselor, I mean, you're a blessing to this world. Thank you so much. 8 years on, you are stronger. And I know as a family, most likely you guys are stronger together.
Yes, we are.
And we thank God that you continue to be that beacon of hope.
Thank you.
For our moms and dads who are watching and they would like to reach out and maybe walk the journey with you, how can they get in touch?
They can get in touch on Facebook, Stawi Wellness. We have a page there, and I'm sure you'll be able to share our contacts later. Yeah, we are willing to work with you. There's hope.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Welcome.
Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
And on that note, we come to the end of today's conversation where we were talking about how child loss can affect a couple. And it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be negative. If you need further help, please make sure you reach out to Counselor Sylvia. We are going to share her details at the bottom of this video. Please make sure you reach out so you don't walk the journey alone. My name is Christine of Super Mamas, and I thank you so much for joining us. And if you're looking for a place to stay for a lunch date, for a family staycation, for a weekend lunch, come over at Pricing Azul. You'll love it. The swimming pool, the ambience, it's a wonderful place to be at. We thank them so much for hosting us and see you on our next video.